Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have confirmed the signing of 21-year-old goalkeeper Antonin Kinský from Slavia Prague. David Ornstein from The Athletic has stated that Ange Postecoglou is 100% safe in his job and Spurs want to sign more players this month. Give Me Sport have stated that Lecce want £30 million for Tottenham Hotspur target left-back Patrick Dorgu, but Spurs do not want to pay that amount of money. Give Me Sport are stating that Spurs only have a budget this month of £25 million. A former Spurs player has aimed a dig at chairman Daniel Levy and a dig at winger Timo Werner. Vicario is now walking around without a protective boot on and or crutches. Ange Postecoglou is facing a ban for his comments post-match against Newcastle. That is a report from the Daily Mail and the Daily Mirror. And a full transfer window update, all of the links, all of the rumours and all of the reports. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. Now, just before I get into all of the news from the last 24 hours or so, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to every single one of you who does subscribe. 148,000 subscribers now. Unbelievable. I would also like to just ask a small favour. Please do vote for us in the Sports Podcast Awards. We have been shortlisted for the Best Team Podcast and the voting closes on the 13th of January. All of the details are below and all of your support is really appreciated. Thank you. So let's start by talking about some official news released by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club on Sunday, confirming our first signing of the winter window. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club confirmed the signing of Antonin Kinský from Slavia Prague, subject to international clearance and a work permit. The 21-year-old goalkeeper has agreed a deal that will run until 2031. He will wear the number 31 shirt. The Daily Mirror have reported on this signing. They have stated that Spurs plan to sign Kinsky in the summer transfer window, not the January one, but they pushed forward the deal due to Vicario's injury, and it was Johan Lange who identified the goalkeeper due to data, and then the club then scouted him, which impressed them further. In his first official interview as a Spurs player, Antonin Kinsky said, "A big honour to join Spurs. I'm really happy to be here. It has been amazing to sign the contract. Tottenham is a big name in Europe and around the world, especially in the Czech Republic. And it is a big honour and I am really happy. I spoke with the coaches, I spoke to the sporting director and almost everyone at the club. I really got the feeling that this is going to be the right choice." Now, various reports in the UK are stating that goalkeeper Vicario is due back in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt to play Premier League action at the end of Feb at the start of March. Vicario on Sunday posted a video online showing himself walking without a protective boot and or crutches. Give Me Sport have just reported that Tottenham's chances of signing top target Patrick Dorgu are now in doubt, as Italian side Lecce want £30 million for the left-back. Spurs do not wish to pay that amount of money, as their budget for the January window is around £25 million. Lecce are confident that they can get £30 million, though, because they have other clubs interested, such as Napoli and AC Milan. Former Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Jamie O'Hara, and now, of course, TalkSport pundit, he has aimed a real dig at Daniel Levy and at player Timo Werner. He said there is only one person who needs to step up and make it happen, and that is the chairman. He cannot keep sticking around and looking at this team falling apart every season because he doesn't back a manager and he doesn't get the right players in. The squad is not big enough, and the players who have come in haven't been good enough. Timo Werner, fair play to him, he's a nice guy, but he is not good enough to play for Tottenham. He is a terrible signing and a terrible re-signing. Now, the Athletic journalist David Ornstein has given a very comprehensive update on Tottenham Hotspur and the winter window. Talking to NBC Sports, talking about Antonin Kinsky, he said he is one of the most informed goalkeepers at the moment with top potential. That is why Tottenham have committed €15 million plus, as well as add-ons and a sell-on clause. Tottenham have high hopes for him and they think he can challenge Vicario immediately. He then went on to talk about the January window and said Tottenham want to do more business in January. They want to strengthen their squad in defence and attack. Some loans are on the agenda, nothing imminent, but conversations are in progress. Ornstein then goes on to say that finances are there at Tottenham, no PSR issues, so finances are there to do something. There could also be some permanent deals if, like Kinsky, they bring it forward from the summer. Ornstein then goes on to say that Tottenham Hotspur are backing Ange Postecoglou 100%. He says Ange Postecoglou is 100% safe in his job right now. They are backing him in this project. Team Talk have stated that Spurs acted quickly to seal January deal after swoop for Bayern Munich stopper fell flat. Tottenham have signed Czech Republic under-21 goalkeeper Antonin Kinský, but it could have been different as Spurs were eyeing Bayern Munich goalkeeper Daniel Peretz. But due to Manuel Neuer's injury at Bayern Munich, he could not leave the German club. Team Talk have also stated that Spurs have made inquiries about Inter Milan midfielder Davide Vertesi as the club want to add depth to their squad. Manchester United and Newcastle are also monitoring the 25-year-old. Various reports in the UK are stating that Spurs are considering a loan move for Brighton forward Evan Ferguson, but 5 other clubs are interested in the forward. Now, 2 Premier League games took place on Sunday afternoon. Fulham 2, Ipswich 2 and Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2. After Sunday's results, Spurs remain 12th in the Premier League table. We are 12 points away from the top 4 and 8 points away from the relegation zone. A report has just been published by the Daily Mail and they are stating that Ange Postecoglou is facing an FA probe after claiming things weren't equal after loss to Newcastle. Postecoglou was furious at Anthony Gordon's goal after a Joe Linton handball. The Tottenham Hotspur boss could be investigated by the Football Association over his post-match comments. Referee Andy Madley did not see the offence and it was not overruled by the VAR Chris Kavanagh because Joe Linton's hand was in a natural position and the contact was ruled to be accidental. After the game, Ange Postecoglou said, on the balance of play, any balance you want with all things equal, we would have won today. Things weren't equal and balanced. The Daily Mirror have also reported on this story and they are stating that Postecoglou could now be in trouble, though managers are allowed to express opinions on referees and decisions if they don't hint at bias or question an official's integrity. The Football Association will now want to know what Postecoglou meant with his post-match comments. If he admits his comments were aimed at the referee, he will face a touchline ban and or a fine. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode. Now, let's start by talking about the signing of goalkeeper Antonin Kinsky. Of course, I spoke at length about this in the previous episode. It was confirmed by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club first thing Sunday morning. The timing of it is a weird one, isn't it? You know, we were given the news by Fabrizio Romano before the Newcastle game. Of course, Brandon Austin waited 9 years to make his competitive debut for Tottenham. And, even before he'd kicked a ball in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt in the Premier League, Fabrizio Romano and other well-known journalists were reporting that Spurs were signing a new goalkeeper. And, of course, the deal has now been done. It is confirmed. And it's going to be interesting. You know, I don't want to repeat myself because I spoke at length about this in the previous episode, but we have got so many decent goalkeepers at the moment. Vicario, you know, David Ornstein has stated that, you know, Kinský is ready to compete for the number 1 shirt. He thinks he's that good. I don't know a lot about Kinský. You know, we see clips on YouTube, but it's not like we're watching him every single week, week in, week out, and knowing what he's all about. It's going to be an interesting one. Will he come straight in against Liverpool on Wednesday? Will Brandon Austin keep his place after a man of the match performance? Honestly, you couldn't write this stuff. You know, waiting 9 years, you come in, you get a man of the match performance, and then Spurs the next day by a goalkeeper. As I said on the previous episode as well, we've got some really good goalkeepers coming up. Luca Gunter, of course, in the under-21s. Josh Keeley is out on loan at the moment with Leyton Orient, having kept 10 clean sheets out of 14 starts for Orient in league competition. So it is pretty decent. Fraser Forster, when he comes back, what's going to happen to him? Is he going to start? Is Brandon Austin going to start ahead of him? Is Kinsky going to, you know, come straight in? It's going to be an interesting situation. The transfer window, I'm pleased it has started for Tottenham. It just needs to continue, and it's all well and good getting some of these players in, but I do feel like we need some strength to go straight into the starting 11 and help Ange Postecoglou, because if we're buying just squad players, it's not going to help for the now. They might be for the future, young players for the future. You know, that's all well and good, but I said this in the summer transfer window, you need players to make an impact immediately. Players to, you know, give us exactly what we need, the energy that we need at the moment, and you know, in terms of numbers, you know, Spurs need strength. We need strength in depth. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're being linked with everyone at the moment as per normal. This is very, very normal in a transfer window. I know some of the people, and I've said this in the last couple of days, some people are like, oh, my God, you're putting all these reports out. You're listing all these players that we're being linked with. This is the transfer window. You know, it's not just Tottenham. You know, all Premier League teams are linked with hundreds of players during these windows. All I would say is if you don't like all the speculation, perhaps switch off and come back to the channel after the 3rd of Feb, 11 p.m. That's when the window closes. There is going to be so much more speculation in the next couple of weeks. I've absolutely no doubt. Now, I've spoken about this one before, so I'm not going to spend too long talking about this one again. Lecce want £30 million for Tottenham Hotspur target Patrick Dorgu. As I say, every single transfer window, if you have a top target, you've got to go out and you've got to go and get them, especially with the situation that we are in at the moment. A really good, capable left back, very, very highly rated, £30 million. But, you know, this isn't the first time I've seen these reports about Spurs having a budget of around £25 million. But David Ornstein from The Athletic, a very, very reliable journalist, you know, one of the best in the world, actually. He has come out and said that Ange Postecoglou is 100% safe in his job, and he believes that there is a lot more business for Spurs to do in this transfer window. He said that loans are on the agenda. I fully expected that anyway. In January, you do expect that. But of course, you can add in obligation to buy, options to buy, etc., etc. So that's going to be an interesting one. And he's also said that PSR is not a problem, and you know, Spurs have money to go and spend. And it's got to be the right players. I completely agree with Ange Postecoglou. There's no point just going out and just getting anyone. They've got to be players that are going to fit into his system. They've got to be players that he wants. They've got to be players that are of real quality and are going to help us going forward. You know, when you look at the league position at the moment, you know, 8 points away from the relegation zone, and we're in January. You know, that needs to improve fast. But as I said, David Ornstein has said, Postecoglou 100% safe in his job right now. Jamie O'Hara aiming digs at Daniel Levy and Timo Werner. As I've said before, you know, the board, I feel like they need to back a manager a little bit more. We always seem to be a couple of players short in any transfer window. I think a lot of football fans, no matter what team they support, always say that, but I think it's very, very evident for us Spurs fans, you know, always a couple of players away from really doing something. And I said this in the summer, and I'm saying it again. I feel like I say the same in every single transfer window. We do need to give Postecoglou, if if Ange Postecoglou is 100% safe in his job and Spurs are going through a proper reset, a proper rebuild, you need to start, we offload so many players and those players do need to be replaced. I get that you can't do it all in 1, 2, perhaps even 3 windows, but all I would say is we need to try a little bit harder and go out and identify these top players and players for now. Players definitely for now. I get all of the fact that, some of these players are for the future, but at this present time, we need players for the now. We've got some very, very important games coming up. We are still in all of the cup competitions, and that, I suppose, is what we are hoping on, clinging on to, that we are going to go far and perhaps lift a trophy this season under Postecoglou, because that is our only hope. The Premier League, even top 4 looks gone. We're 12 points away, haven't played 20 games. That is too much distance, in my opinion. I don't think Spurs have got any hope in finishing top 4. That is realistic. That's not me being negative. On Timo Werner, I've said many times, I think that Timo Werner, I don't even know what to say anymore. I think that the ability isn't there. I don't think it's a confidence thing. I just think that, in front of goal just isn't good enough. And I do agree with Jamie O'Hara. I don't think Timo Werner is good enough for Spurs, certainly going forward. If we want to progress as a football club, we need better players than Timo Werner. That is probably the nicest way I could put that. Vicario walking around now without a protective boot. That is absolutely great news. All of the reports that I've seen so far, he is expected to be back in a Spurs shirt at the end of Feb, start of March. So, not long. So that's good news, really good news. Ange Postecoglou facing a ban for his comments post-match about Newcastle. I tell you what, that was a terrible, terrible decision. And I've said this on previous episodes in the past couple of years. I think that referees make so many mistakes. I'm not a football fan that slags referees off and keeps going on about referees and saying that we've lost games because of referees, because, you need to create more chances just than 1 or 2 bad decisions. But that was a really, really poor decision. And I've said before that, I would love to see, the managers have to come and do all of these interviews, furious. Ange Postecoglou was furious on Saturday about that decision, about Joe Linton's handball. And it was so clear. I can't believe that the referee, 1, didn't see it, and 2, VAR didn't pick up on it either. It's a joke. But the managers have to do all of these post-match interviews and then a press conference. Why don't you put the referee in to have a press conference as well? Because I tell you what, they would absolutely hate facing all of these questions, knowing that they have made huge errors, or even replay these incidents back to them, straight after the game and say, why didn't you give that decision, or explain yourself? Because I think that everyone would feel that little bit better about it. Something really does need to change with refereeing and VAR, because I feel like this season it has been really poor quality. As I said, we're linked with lots of different players at the moment. I'm actually doing a live fan show again on Monday evening, 7 p.m. UK time, with the singer James Black. Of course, James sings at every single home game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a very well-known character. So I'll have him alongside me. If you would like to get involved in one of the fan chats, one of the fan shows, please do send me an email. It is tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And as I asked earlier, if you can vote for us in the Sports Podcast Awards, all of the details are below. It would be really appreciated. Enjoy your week. I'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.